What's going on, guys? It's your boy Plex here, the Average Biker. So today we're going to talk about why aren't young people buying Harley Davidson motorcycles? And there's some schools of thought out there about this, and I've heard a lot from a lot of people talking about it. And their stock's having a lot of problems. They say the company ain't doing too well. So let's start off with what isn't the reason why. First and foremost, I've heard a lot about price. So let's check out the prices on some comparable Harleys. So let's compare some bikes. Here you see we got the 2019 Vulcan 900 Custom. That's a Kawasaki. The MSRP on it is pretty much $8,500. You see here, straight from Kawasaki's website. So, I mean, that's pretty cheap, right? I mean, I think that's pretty cheap for an entry-level bike. Ain't too bad. So now let's look at Yamaha. By the way, it's a 900cc. So Yamaha's got the Bolt R-Spec coming in at around 8,400. It's got 942 cc's. So still an entry-level bike at $8,400. Pretty cheap, right? I think so. So now let's look at Harley. Here we go. We got the Sportster Super Low for $8,700. So you're going to tell me that an extra $200 is going to be the difference between somebody buying Kawasaki and buying a Harley. You know, people always say it's the price, it's the price, it's the price. But it's really not. I mean, here's proof right here for an entry-level bike, the type of things that a millennial or a younger generation would be trying to buy, lower price range. I mean, this is a cheap bike, just like the rest of them, entry level. And you'd be surprised, and I'll probably do another video on this, but you'd be surprised. It's the same story for the touring bikes, for the Street Glide, matched up against some of these competitors. So stay tuned for that. The next reason people try and give me is because they're not as convenient. They say that young people are looking for more convenient type motorcycles and just something to zip around town on. But I call bullshit on that, because convenience is riding around in a parking lot easily. A low center of gravity, that's what you get on a cruiser, not a sport bike. You get a bigger gas tank typically with Harley. Takes you further. That's less trips to the gas station. It's not about convenience to them. I think it's more a cultural type thing. It's easier to ride it. It's the perception. It's the lack of knowledge about what it's actually like to ride a motorcycle. Somebody who doesn't ride bikes would sit there and see a crotch rocket and think, oh, that's a small bike, so, you know, it's probably easy to handle. It's not as intimidating as a big old hog. You see a big old hog out on the road and, you know, you think somebody might drop it because it's just so heavy and stuff like that. When the truth is, once you start riding, it's actually easier to ride a lower motorcycle. It's easier to ride a cruiser, even though it's heavier. Yeah, it might be harder for 2 seconds to pick it up off the kickstand, but after you get going, it's a fucking breeze. So another issue that I think might be stopping the younger generation from buying Harleys is the confidence issue. You know, Harley Davidson over the years has built up a reputation for big bad bikers with loud motorcycles and kind of like a look at me type thing. And you know, that's what a lot of Harley Davidson riders want. But then again, there's a lot of them who don't want that attention either. But either way it goes, when you get on a Harley Davidson with all that chrome and you go ride down the street, you know, people are going to see you. They're going to look at you. You know, a lot of times they got loud exhausts and people are going to hear that exhaust. They're going to look over. It's almost like a mindset. And I think the younger generation, they're not accustomed to that type of confidence and stuff like that. They're not accustomed to that much attention going up and down the road. That's why, you know, I see a lot of kids in college driving around in Camrys and Honda Accords and stuff like that. It's some of the most common cars you see. You know, it's almost like they just want to fit in. People don't want to stick out. And that's more of a generational type thing, but, you know, they're acting like it's something new that, you know, motorcycle riders are all old. I mean, I highly doubt that's the case. I mean, Harleys have always been pretty expensive. Now, one of the last reasons why the younger generation might not be interested in buying Harleys is probably Harley riders themselves, you know. I mean, a lot of times, and I experienced this myself when I first came into the biker community, I'd noticed that a lot of time guys and Harleys out riding together and stuff like that, they never acknowledge you. They never acknowledge you if you were on a crotch rocket or if you were on a foreign bike. I mean, I didn't start out riding Harleys in the beginning. I mean, I started out on a Honda myself. My first 2 motorcycles were Hondas. And I definitely didn't get the same warm treatment that probably other Harley riders would have. And a lot of times the image that Harley riders put off, I mean, even the clothes that are designed by Harley themselves, they just tend to look a little bit more aggressive, more intimidating. And a lot of times that image doesn't gel with what the younger generation likes. I mean, if you watch music videos and modern day media, you'll notice, I mean, there's a lot more bright style in today's world. And by that I mean people like wearing colors like turquoise and all these really bright flashy colors. I mean, that's great, but it doesn't really gel with the motorcycle. I mean, it could maybe on a crotch rocket, but it's not going to gel really well with Harley. You know, it just doesn't line up with the personality. So I honestly believe that if Harley riders were a little bit more outgoing and not afraid to approach people at gas stations and you know, talk to people more, just get out there, then the younger generation would be buying into it a little bit more. But I think that a lot of Harley riders tend to be a little bit more standoffish. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to meet you. You know, and that can lead to the demise of a brand. I mean, people want to associate a brand with something positive. They want to buy into something where they feel like they're a part of something. But you know, you don't want to become a part of something where before you even become a part of it, you notice things about it that you don't like. You feel like the people there aren't friendly and things like that. And I'm not saying that about the Harley dealerships or anything like that, but I know from personal experience, before I actually got out and rode a Harley myself and met a lot of Harley riders, I mean, that was just the way that it was. So their stock's struggling, they're struggling to sell to these young buyers, but I mean, they also got programs going on trying to show young people how to ride and trying to get more people to learn how to ride, because I think if I had to roll it all up into one word, I would probably just say, you know, misinformation. Probably just misinformation is the reason why. You know, the young buyers, they don't have enough experience with motorcycles to know the benefits of having one versus the other. And the hardest part is actually getting more people to ride, because the thing is, you're going to get more customers of Harley if more people ride in general. I mean, putting on these riding clinics and going out here and showing these young people how to ride, I mean, that's going to bring more riders in general. You know, there's going to be more crotch rocket riders. There's going to be more cruiser riders, cafe cruisers. It doesn't matter. You're going to have more riders in general. And so the industry is going to grow. It's going to grow. So, I mean, I don't think that sales as far as motorcycles go are up extremely for any brand. But I think Harley Davidson is going to be one of the first ones to take a hit, because they're one of the most exclusive. They're one of the most luxury, you know. I mean, the CVO is probably one of the most expensive bikes on the market. I know it is. I mean, it's up there with the most expensive Ducatis. And I mean, definitely two different sides of the world right there, but either way it goes. Of course, when less people ride and it's not as popular, not as many people are going to spend money on it. Just like anything else, you know, if the NFL falls out of popularity, you're not going to see a bunch of people running out and buying jerseys. Not very many people are going to wear jerseys out. You know, the NFL is going to start losing money because they're losing popularity. So you just take everything into account, and you know, it's not the end of the world. I think that personally, I know a bunch of Harley riders who are good people, and I think that they're going to present a positive image for the brand, and I try and do that myself when I'm out riding. I mean, I know a lot of times the loud pipes can be intimidating to people, but you know, sometimes I'm in a traffic light and I'll just smile at somebody. You know, if I see another rider broken down, or even somebody broken down in their car, I'll stop, see if I can help them some sort of way. Maybe they don't know how to change a tire. I mean, I'm not above doing anything. I always keep it humble, you know, just the average biker. Alright, so that pretty much sums it up. I mean, feel free to leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are. Why do you think it is the younger generation doesn't want to buy a Harley? Shit, I'm part of the younger generation, and I'm riding my fucking Harley.